When a young, impoverished boy started tinkering with engines, no one could have predicted he'd go on to create some of the world's most luxurious cars. This boy was Frederick Henry Royce, born in 1863 in Alwalton, England. The youngest of 5 children, Henry grew up in a family that struggled financially. His parents, James and Mary, ran a flour mill, but James, despite following in his father's footsteps, lacked the necessary business acumen. The family's income remained low, and they lived in poverty for many years. Things worsened in 1867 when they declared bankruptcy. Hoping to turn their fortunes around, they moved to London. By then, 4-year-old Henry had already started his first job as a bird scarer on a nearby farm, earning 6 pence a week. But in 1872, disaster struck once again. Henry's father passed away. Now even the youngest children, including 9-year-old Henry, had to contribute to the family income. He took to selling newspapers and delivering telegrams, and by the time he was 15, Henry had completed only a single year of formal schooling. In his teens, Henry was offered an apprenticeship with the Great Northern Railway Works, thanks to some financial help from his aunt. Although his education had been minimal, he was determined to make the most of this opportunity, studying algebra, French, and electrical engineering during his free time. Unfortunately, after 3 years, Henry had to leave due to financial difficulties. Following this, Henry briefly worked at a tool-making company in Leeds, and then at the Electric Light and Power Company in London. In 1882, he moved to Liverpool to continue working with the company, with hopes of eventually making engineering his full-time profession. By the time he was 22, Henry had saved up enough to start a business with his friend and fellow engineer, Ernest Claremont. They called it F.H. Royce and Company, dedicating themselves to producing electrical components such as doorbells and dynamos. Their hard work paid off, and by 1894, the company had grown to manufacture electric cranes. However, Henry's interest began to shift toward motor vehicles. While Henry Royce became crucial to the future of Rolls-Royce, he wasn't the only person behind its founding. Another key figure was Charles Stuart Rolls. Born in 1877 in London's upscale Berkeley Square, Charles Rolls was the youngest son of Lord and Lady Langattock. From a young age, Charles showed a passion for engineering and eventually studied mechanical engineering at Trinity College, Cambridge. Known for tinkering with engines, he earned the nickname Dirty Rolls and was the first undergraduate at Cambridge to own a car, a Peugeot Phaeton he bought during a trip to Paris. At age 18, this was highly unusual. Few people even knew what a car was. After graduating in 1898, Charles worked on a steam yacht and at the London and Northwestern Railway, but his interests leaned toward motoring and entrepreneurship. In 1903, with financial support from his father, he launched one of Britain's first car dealerships, C.S. Rolls and Company, specializing in Peugeot and Minerva vehicles. Business thrived, and Charles funded his passions for motoring and aviation. However, these pursuits were as risky as they were costly. Meanwhile, back at F.H. Royce and Company, Henry's curiosity in motor vehicles continued to grow. In 1901, he purchased a second-hand 2-cylinder Decauville car and quickly set out to improve its design. Driven by a relentless pursuit of perfection, Henry became determined to build a better car himself. By the end of 1903, he designed and constructed his first petrol engine, and in the following year, he debuted the Royce 10-horsepower car. 2 decades into his business, Henry's car proved to be a success, leading him to make 2 more. One went to his business partner, Ernest Claremont, while another was sold to a shareholder named Henry Edmunds. It was Edmunds who would later bring together the 2 men whose partnership would revolutionize motoring. Impressed by Royce's craftsmanship, Edmunds arranged a meeting between Rolls and Royce. At the time, Rolls was discontented with only selling foreign cars and eagerly explored new possibilities. Despite typically preferring 3- and 4-cylinder models, he was captivated by Royce's 2-cylinder design. Within minutes of test driving the car, Rolls was certain he had found something exceptional. Rolls agreed on the spot to sell as many cars as Royce could produce. Though the 2 men were an unlikely pair, with a substantial age, class, and educational gap, their partnership was transformative. Royce, then 41, was largely self-taught, while Rolls, at just 26, had enjoyed an elite education and youthful adventures in high-end motor cars. Despite their differences, their combined talents and vision would soon create a legacy that defined luxury automotive engineering. The story of Rolls-Royce is one of vision, innovation, and legacy, rooted in the partnership of two remarkable men, Henry Royce and Charles Rolls. Despite coming from vastly different backgrounds, the two formed a dynamic duo that would revolutionize the automobile industry. Henry Royce, a self-taught engineer with a relentless work ethic, had a passion for perfection. He built his first car in 1904, the Royce 10, and soon after teamed up with Rolls, a wealthy car dealer and aviation enthusiast. Together, they created the Rolls-Royce Company in 1906, with Royce handling engineering and Rolls focusing on sales and marketing. In 1907, the duo introduced the Silver Ghost, a six-cylinder automobile that would go on to be hailed as the best car in the world. Its smooth, quiet engine and superior craftsmanship became synonymous with Rolls-Royce's reputation for engineering excellence. However, it wasn't just Royce and Rolls who contributed to the company's success. Claude Johnson, the company's managing director, was instrumental in building the Rolls-Royce brand. A genius in marketing, Johnson orchestrated campaigns that highlighted the reliability and performance of Rolls-Royce cars. His famous slogan, "The best car in the world," solidified the brand's image and set it apart from the competition. Despite their complementary skills, the partnership was short-lived. While Royce dedicated himself entirely to engineering, Rolls had a passion for aviation and often sought to push the boundaries of flight. Rolls tried to convince Royce to design an aircraft engine, but Royce was hesitant. In 1910, Rolls purchased a Wright Flyer and became the first person to make a non-stop flight across the English Channel. Tragically, just a month later, Charles Rolls was killed in a plane crash during a flying demonstration at the age of 32. His untimely death marked the end of the Rolls-Royce partnership, and Henry Royce was left to carry the company's vision forward alone. Royce continued his work tirelessly, expanding Rolls-Royce into the aviation industry during World War I, a decision that would shape the future of the company. His philosophy, "Take the best that exists and make it better," was not just a slogan but a guiding principle that ensured Rolls-Royce cars and engines were built to the highest standards. However, Royce's intense work ethic took a toll on his health. He died in 1933 from complications related to years of overwork and poor nutrition, but not before leaving behind a legacy of innovation and craftsmanship that would carry on. Today, Rolls-Royce is one of the most prestigious and recognized luxury car brands in the world. With vehicles like the Cullinan, Phantom, and Ghost, the brand continues to represent wealth, luxury, and unparalleled engineering. Owned by BMW since 1998, Rolls-Royce has maintained its reputation for producing some of the most expensive and exclusive cars in the world. Under the leadership of CEO Torsten Müller-Ötvös since 2010, Rolls-Royce remains a symbol of pure luxury, and the vision of Henry Royce and Charles Rolls still drives the brand's success. The story of Rolls-Royce is a testament to the power of collaboration, vision, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. It's a legacy that continues to inspire and captivate car enthusiasts around the world.